Hi everyone. If you work in an office, you probably know this situation. Your manager says, "Can you make this one simple infographic from this?" and then sends you an Excel file, a PDF, and 3 emails. You open PowerPoint, start dragging shapes, trying to make it look modern, and 40 minutes later, it's still not something you're proud to show in a meeting. In this video, I'll show you how to let AI do the boring part. We'll generate a simple infographic for a self-service payment in a cozy coffee shop, and then go all the way up to more sophisticated visuals like how banking transactions actually work behind the scenes. My name is Max and I run flowbyte AI. We help businesses automate workflow so office workers can do more in less time. Alright, so let's start with what are the different options to generate infographics with AI. And I have actually separated those into 3 different groups. So the first one are templated solutions like Piktochart Venngage. Basically, they allow you to use pre-created templates that will automatically place in the text you're willing to place in your infographic, and you can actually customize it later on. So those are sort of nice for quick and easy designs because they have a big library of different templates that you can use. However, if you want to generate an infographic with your specific style or your specific colors, that might be a little bit of struggle. And that's why this is nice to use if you need something really quick and easy. But if you want to have something more customized or more nicely designed, there is another option to use this for. So another option is actually using image generators, and the ones that I found, one of the best ones with this one is actually SeeDream V4 or Ideogram V3. So those are 2 newest models that you can use right now, and SeeDream actually is accessible only via API, but I will show you the way how you can use it. And Ideogram, they have a free trial that you can use, but still it's limited, so if you want to use it at scale, you might need to, pay a little fee for using the model. So those generally models are image generators. Those are not infographic generators or anything like that. But the fact is, those models are really good at placing text on the image. And that's why we might actually use these models to generate infographics for us. So this will be really nice to have beautiful designs, but with limited text. So if you want your infographics to be text heavy, they will not be able to incorporate that. So SeeDream seems to be generating text really good at a bigger scale in terms of, I don't know, like 30 words or something like this, which counts as like a big amount of text on the visual. However, there might be some problems with the text because the more text you want to put on the image, the harder for the model is to generate it. And that's why we'll be using Canva AI to actually select the text that is generated and check that and actually correct the text to the one that we want. And the third option to generate infographic is basically to generate is with general LLMs like Z.ai, Gemini, or ChatGPT. So those models are mostly reasoning models, so they will produce the quality output, they will not generate the image, they will actually write the code. But how you can ask it to generate infographic? Because if they just generate image, that's gonna be trash. That's why here we're actually asking it to generate HTML code that we can later on export and save it on our desktop and use it later. And as long as it generates HTML code, it can provide editing to the text on the slide. Otherwise, the model just output text, but if it's in HTML, it can incorporate editing. And this will be done programmatically by the smart models. They will think of what is the best way to actually show off the text, and we will see how it actually works. Well, the problem I found with this one that they can, although incorporate text-heavy infographics and put a lot of information in it, they struggle with images. So if you want to have like custom images or something more nicer, that's not the best way to go. Actually, they will use the vector graphics, they would use icons, but they will not be able to directly kind of incorporate images. Or if some of those can, like Z.ai, for example, take in and place some images, sometimes those images not so nice. But there are cool features from each of these models, and I'll show you later that each of these like LLMs have their own advantages. For example, Z.ai allow you to edit the infographic straight in the chat. Gemini allows you to add some cool features to your HTML code, and there are more. Now, so let's start with the pre-templated infographics. For example, we're gonna use the Piktochart, so you go to piktochart.com, and basically you need to log in. I have an account already, so I'm gonna log in. All right, so once you're in, this is how your kind of design is gonna look like. Then you go to Infographics, and here you can click on Generate AI Infographic. So now from this top bar, we have to select that we want to create an infographic once again. So here we have 2 options, either to type the text ourselves or paste and upload a file. Well, now you will see the limitation of this one. Let me use a couple pre-created prompts for this. So let's ask it to generate a modern and cozy self-service cafeteria environment. And here we gonna insert additional text. Basically, The idea of this infographic is basically showing that a cafeteria introducing self-service option so that people can come and pay for their coffee themselves without the cashier actually. So that's how the process actually looks, and we tell it explicitly what it needs to consist of, like pick your favorite coffee, blah blah, scan or tap to pay, etc, etc. So let's just generate the infographic and see how it actually gonna look. All right, and here we have it. So cozy cafeteria flow, explore the simple self-service, select your treat, grab your coffee, pay, enjoy, relax and savor, cafeteria made easy. I mean, the design looks good, but it doesn't look exactly the way I want it to, because I asked it to for a clean white and beige background, but in fact I got something different, purple white background. Okay, but the cool part about this one is if you need a quick infographic, you can basically go right in here and pre-select different templates. So if that's really simple, you don't need to overcomplicate stuff, you can pretty much use the pre-created templates. And the cool part about this one that you can actually edit this infographic. So if you in particular like this design, you go save and edit infographic, and basically afterwards you can change any type of text on the infographic or image, right? So if you like the design that was pre-created, basically you can use that. And the way this program works, they have pre-created templates that will basically say where to put whatever text you wish. So here you are gonna change any text, and once it's done, you can download this as PNG or PDF or even PowerPoint if you have a business account. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one is Venngage. That works really similar to what the Piktochart does. Basically here again, we have to log in. So I'm going to log in because I have an account. So once you're in, basically you have to go to Design AI, and here you will be able to select different options on the very top. So we're going to go with infographics. And in my case, I'm going to select the type of infographic I'm willing to use. So in this case, it's going to be process. And let me paste in the prompt that we used for the Piktochart. All right. So we have it right in here. Modern, costly self-service cafeteria. We got 4 steps. And let's click generate and see what kind of output we get. All right, we got it ready. So let's actually take a look. So straight away, it allows us to customize the template or customize the infographic that I created. Modern, cozy, self-service cafeteria. Okay, so this one looks a little bit more customized to what I was asking for. We got the beige background, we got 4 steps, and it actually looking quite decent. I mean, this image without text here looks a little bit weird, I should say, but generally it has all the information it needs. So I think adjusting kind of this box a little bit or using kind of a different image for this one, that would be like, you know, full screen or something. I think that's going to get it better. So once again, you can pretty much customize this template, and then again, you can download this. However, in order to download, you have to use a paid plan for this one. But I mean, for a quick infographics to generate that you can print out and place it for the people, for the consumers in your coffee shop that needs to kind of follow the guidelines, how they can use the self-service option, that's the way to go. That's the second one. The third option that we're going to take a look about is basically image generator. And as I mentioned, there are 2 types of models that we're going to use. First is SeeDream and Ideogram. So I'm actually going to be using these models through the KIE.AI service. And in order to use it through the KIE.AI service, you actually have to create an account here, and you have to add some credits. And as much as $5 credits is enough for this service, because it's actually very powerful. It allows you to generate the videos, images, and a lot of stuff actually at a cheaper rate than other models. But the problem with SeeDream V4, that is not publicly available. It's basically available through the API only. And here you can basically use it in a easy to use interface, so to say. So if we go back to KIE.AI and we're logged into account, we can go to AI Image API and select SeeDream API. This one will allow us to actually get to the user interface where we can just from a single prompt generate an image and download it straight away. So here it's pretty easy. So that's why this is the edit model. I'm going to choose the SeeDream V4 text to image model. And the second one is that we might need to use basically Ideogram V3. You can also go to Ideogram.ai website, create an account and generate like up to 12 generations for free. So basically you're going to get there and you're going to use the same model 3.0 turbo, and you can specify the style, character and color. And here we pretty much get the same. We can select the turbo or balanced model. We can select what kind of image size we want, how many images, etc. So basically that's kind of the same thing. Here you will be allowed to generate up to, I think, 3 or 4 generations of 4 images. If you have $5 credits through the API on KIE.AI, you can pretty much generate like, I don't know, maybe 100 of images like this. So let's actually take a look how this actually works. So let me use the same prompts for this one and see how they actually handle this one. I'm gonna go with something like this. And once again, the prompt is exactly the same. Create a modern minimalistic infographic poster for a cozy self-service cafeteria. And here I'm gonna select 4 images. So just in case, because sometimes those images are AI generated, there might be some struggle with the process and the flow, and I want to make sure I have enough options to choose from. So I'm going to generate 4 images with the SeeDream. And then I'm going to go to the ideogram, and just for the comparison of this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select balance here. For the resolution, this was square, so let's use the square here. And I'm going to generate 4 images as well right in here. So let's click run and see what kind of results we get from the ideogram and what kind of results we get from SeeDream. All right, and ideogram visuals are already ready. So I'm not sure if you can actually see what's in there, but that's basically the first infographic. Self-service payment, easy, fast, delicious. So choose your treat, scan or tap to pay, confirm to take receipt, enjoy break. Actually, this one doesn't look bad at all. I like those visuals and some of those pictures. Those are really good one. But you can also clearly see there is a little problem with the text. For example, here on the mobile or here, and there is an option to actually correct this one. So I'll show you that in a second, but let's actually take a look if some other visuals are better. So self-service payment, easy, fast, delicious. Selecting treats, beans, okay, some random text right in here, and the bullet point in the different direction. Again, there is a struggle with the bullet point, confirming to whatever son's plans, etc. So infographic generally looks fine, but there is a little problem with those 2 images right in here. I mean, the same image appears 3 times. Although I like the general design, I don't like this phone appears many times. So let's take a look at this one. Self-service payment, easy, fast, delicious. Specialty coffee and cake, pick your favorite cake, etc. Okay, so we can change the text pretty easily. As for the images, I think these are all good except kind of these parts. Quality coffee, beans. Generally, this is not that bad. I actually like this infographic, and the last one is probably totally off. Although generally it's kind of fine, but I mean, probably this one is something that I like most of it. So I'm gonna take and download this infographic so we're gonna see it full screen. So that's how it actually looks, and we'll need to adjust a couple of things there before we go. And let's actually take a look at the SeeDream. So SeeDream gives us, hey, self-service payment, easy, fast and delicious. Enjoy specialty coffee, pick your coffee, scan the QR code, confirm the amount of screen, relax with quality coffee, fresh dessert. I mean, it even figured out all the text. There's no problem with the text, and generally the infographic is really good. I might actually just print out this infographic and place it. I don't even need to change anything, so that's pretty nice. Another option, step 1, pick your favorite coffee, scan the QR code, confirm the amount of screen, relax with quality coffee. This one is really good. I mean, this one is really good, and all the icons actually make sense. Well, this one I would probably make it a little bit bigger, but other than that, it's pretty cool. Oh, there is a problem with this one. Quality highlight, I guess. That's what should go there, and we can actually change that as well. And I see there is a problem with this word for all the images, but I'm going to show you how we can easily correct that. So again, this one is, I guess, pretty cool in kind of the same style. And here we also go one. There is a problem with the bullet point right in here. Okay, so this one is not good. So if, let me say I take, for example, so this one doesn't need any edits, but I would probably choose kind of the first one because it's kind of ready to go if I were to choose. But if we have a problem with the text, or let's say we like this one in particular, but we have a problem with this text, so we're going to download this one and we're going to go to Canva, because Canva allows you to actually edit the text on the visuals. So we go to create a new design, then we choose a custom size, and for the custom size we have to pre-select the same size of the image. So I've opened the image that I have here, and I see that the size of this image is 2048 times 2408. So I'm just gonna use the same size for the height and the width, and let's create new design right in here. So next I'm gonna upload the photo that I've just downloaded. All right, so here we go. Let's just extend this photo full screen. And now what we're gonna go is we're gonna click edit. And again, this is going to be paid AI feature for Canva AI, but we're gonna click edit and we click here grab text. And as you can see, this is a paid feature, and you have to have a premium account for this one, but it's really, really useful if you ever need to create this. That's gonna save a lot of time. So basically what it does, it identifies all the text on your image, and you can pretty much change any text you want. So in this case, I want to just change this text because everything else is fine. So I'm gonna select this one, and it's transforming this image text to real text that I can edit. So I can go quality highlight. Okay, so I'm gonna place it right in here, and yep, that's ready to go. So once this image is ready, I can go share, I can download it and download as PNG, and now I have pretty much ready infographic. Well, what are these ones? I don't know. Maybe we want to correct these ones as well. But once again, if you want to do this, you can basically highlight with just a simple box of these. Okay, so you can do the same thing with the ideogram, infographic, or any other. Basically, you upload it to Canva, you select specific text you want to correct, and basically correct the text, and now you have it ready. So I'm not going to show again how it did with ideogram, infographic. I think you got the idea. And then we move to the next section, is basically the third one, which is infographic generation with general LLMs. And for this one, we're going to use something more sophisticated. For example, how banking transactions actually work behind the scenes. And for this one, I'm going to use the article from Stripe that kind of in detail describes what's going on here. And I'm going to use 3 different models. I'm going to use GLM 4.6 from Z.ai, Gemini, and ChatGPT. So let's try first of all with this one. So for this one, I'm going to use instructions based on the information below. I want to prepare a beautiful infographic how the banking transactions works. Make sure for each step to include a picture, animation, or icon, vector image, whichever explains the point best. The infographic will be used as a guide for consumer banking workers to explain how the transactions work. Generate it as HTML with custom CSS code, GraphJS, vectors, SVG for better visual explanation. So this is important to generate this HTML because we can pretty much straight away, first of all, execute it straight in the browser so that we can see how it looks. And if we like it, we can download it and send it to anyone. So, and as an additional information, I'm going to just use this website and I'm going to just copy paste all the text that we have right in here. I guess that's good enough. So, and I'm going to copy paste the whole prompt. I click enter here, and I'm going to use just exactly the same prompt right in here. Okay. The only difference with using Gemini, I'm going to select the choose Canvas because Canvas will allow you to generate HTML code straight in the browser and execute it and see how it actually looks. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the same right in ChatGPT. And here I'll probably use the thinking model. So again, extended thinking, that's the paid feature for ChatGPT, but you can use the free feature too. So let's execute and let's actually see how it works. So for example, in GLM, what it actually does, it generates a whole chunk of code for us. And later on, we'll be able to see how it actually looks. But already here we're seeing like more than 500 lines already, and it's just starting. But well, we'll see how that works. The same happens with the Gemini. It generates a ton of code. We'll see who wins this battle, and ChatGPT is still thinking. Okay, so once we have the first infographic, we're gonna be back to show you how it actually looks. All right, and we have the first one to generate was Gemini. So let's actually take a look how it works. So basically, there's a whole chunk of code, so up to 500 lines, but this is the visual one. So payment transaction processing cycle, visual journey, the key players, call holder, business, acquiring bank, looks good. How the transaction works, step-by-step initiation, encryption, and look at this animation. Wow, this is nice. This is really cool that it's actually moving. Encryption, does the user have fun? Response, why modern processing matters, enhance security, improve cash flow. So even generated a graph for this one. So I guess it's a little bit lightweight in terms of the information, but on the other hand, it looks really, really good. Well, it looks like, a landing page for some service provider, but it kind of explains what it is. The only probably difference here, I would want a little bit more detail exactly how it works because it's kind of high level. But let's see what other models have generated. So here is the Z.ai, how banking transactions work, an interactive guide to understanding the complex journey of your money movement. Okay, what is payment processing? Key partners. Again, generated it this way, how payment transaction works. And look at this one. Actually, as I'm actually scrolling through the screen, this green part is actually moving. Wow, that's nice. There's a problem with the icon though, but anyways, that's a pretty cool feature. And why payment transactions processing matter for businesses. Okay, and it generated some other stuff. Okay, again, a little bit lightweight, but it might be also because the text that I was providing is a little bit high level as well. This is just a blog post and there is no so much information. It doesn't account for graphs. So anyways, this is looking really, really nice as well. And ChatGPT is still actually generating. So while ChatGPT generating, let me show you a couple of features that you have in another service. So what I like about Z.ai, that you can pretty much take any infographic and you can edit it straight right in here. So if you don't like this one, you just substitute the text. This is a new paragraph. So yeah, it is that easy. And that's what I like about it, because you can pretty much edit the whole infographic straight in the browser with the user interface. So instead of you actually going, you can click save. Instead of you going to the code and finding that exact thing in the code, and you don't want to mess up with the code if you don't know what's going on here, it's just much easier for you as a user experience to edit it right in here. It is not actually available in the other services like Gemini or ChatGPT. So in the Google Gemini, what I like about this one is there is an option. If you generate this in Canvas, there is this option, add Gemini features. So basically what it does, you don't know what it's going to come up with, but most likely that's going to be another cool feature that's going to add on the website, basically add on the HTML code right in here, that you will be able to actually interact with the infographic. Let's actually wait until it generates this one, because I will show you what are the newest feature that it has added. And if we go to ChatGPT, we meet the requirements. Oh my god. Okay, so let me actually see. It says we have actually hit the limit. I haven't seen this one. It's still generating, but it mentioned that it hit the limit, and it generated, oh my god, 1200 lines. This is definitely looks like an overkill, but okay, so I'm not sure if this is gonna work, because it's not finished. I guess it's not finished. Oh, it even actually stopped, so it doesn't allow me to preview, doesn't allow me to do anything. Okay, so let me reload this real quick and see if that helps. Meanwhile, Gemini is still working on the code, I guess. Yeah, we can see that's still working, and this guy is actually stuck. So I was able to break the system. Oh my god. Okay, just with a simple infographic. That's interesting. Okay, so let's wait while this one loads, and let's actually preview what this one generated. Okay, so the Gemini has finished. And if I go right in here, we've got powered by Gemini transaction simulator. Curious how a specific purchase works. Describe a scenario. Buying a coffee in Paris with a yes debit card. So actually, let's use this one and simulate transaction. So now, instead of just having an infographic document that you can kind of observe, you can even interact with it. So here we go. Okay, it generates a lot of text for us, but it basically says what's going to happen if we buy a coffee in Paris and how this transaction is going to appear. How cool is that? I love that. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so let me get back to ChatGPT and let me see if the preview actually works. Okay, it actually works. And let me see what we got here, how payment transaction works. First of all, what I actually see, there's a lot of information. There's not so much design here, as you can see, but it has a lot of information. Who takes part? And it goes for the customers and business and behind the scenes, from payment to transaction. It got the kind of 4 processes right in here. So what I found is that ChatGPT infographics are very text heavy. Basically, they go with generating more details. And I think in this case, this actually might be very important, because, you know, transactions, to understanding how it works, you have to incorporate a little bit more text into the slides. However, design-wise, I'm actually lacking a little bit structure to this one, because I mean, it is structured as kind of 2 points and kind of main idea on the first part, but I mean, design wise, it doesn't look super nice, although in my opinion. So another option that you might have is actually how we can use all this. If we have generated this looks nice, but what if I want to save it and send it to my colleague? So for this one, you will actually have to go to first of all, you can copy a link in Z.ai. So if you copy a link and you open it right in here, you'll basically see this as a separate link that you can send. Okay, that's one thing. The problem with this one is if you're going to print it, whenever you're going to print it, you will not be able to print the background colors. So the background colors, like here, the blue color, or those kind of animations, of course, this is not going to go to the print. So ideally, if you want to generate an infographic and print it or save it as PDF, you have to generate on a white background. Then you have to specify this in your prompt. Otherwise, if you're fine to send it as a link, that's the way to go. For the Gemini, they have options to copy contents, and we don't have an option to actually share it as a link. So that's why we actually have to go to Notepad, and now we're going to generate new option. We're going to paste in the text right in here, and then we can click File, Save As. Here we're going to save it on desktop, select all files, and then we name it infographics.html. That's important, okay? And we can open that file. So once we open that file, it's saved as HTML, and you have all the options right in here. And you can even, there is a okay, so there's something different. Banking jargon buster, ask about any term. I'm not sure at what time I was able to redo this kind of thing, but here we go. Why was my card declined? Okay, so we can even ask it through the browser, and I hope it actually works. But I'm not sure. Maybe it just works within the Gemini service. So you might not want to have this in a separate HTML file that you've saved on your laptop. Yes. Okay, so that actually only works in the Gemini kind of browser that you have. It doesn't work if you download it. So for those additional features, I do not suggest them if you want to use this infographic for your own matter. But again, this infographic, you can send this as a document to anyone else that they can open their browser, or you can, again, save it as PDF. But the problem with saving as PDF, that you will not have the background colors, and now the design is actually much worse. So in this case, you have to ask it to generate with a white background so that, you know, the design looks sort of fine. And again, you're gonna do the same with this ChatGPT thing. There's an option to download the file, so you can download the file and then basically you can open that file because it automatically downloads in HTML, and you can send this as a document to someone else. So we went from a simple self-service coffee shop flow to full banking transaction infographics, all with the AI doing most of the heavy lifting. You will find the links to all the tools and services I showed in this video down in the description below, so you can try the same workflow in your own office. My name is Max, this is flowbyte.ai, and if this was useful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone in your team who still spends evenings in PowerPoints. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.